Every once in a while I see these articles pop up, and it's major clickbait. It's either from Game Rant, which this one is, or Screen Rant, or CBR, one of these websites, and they write these like crazy articles. This one I saw, and I just like kind of laughed at. I wanted to absolutely debunk this. Saitama has no weaknesses. It says One Punch Man, 6 weaknesses Saitama has. And I was like, I saw this, I clicked it, I was like, I gotta read what they say. And honestly, man, so let's go ahead and go through this. It says Saitama, the titular character of One Punch Man, is poised as being an invulnerable being, defeating villains with just one strike. But while many consider him utterly invincible, a narrative that the series has purported since the first episode, the reality is that he might actually be quite the contrary. No, I don't think so, sir. His intense training has certainly raised his status above the average human, though that doesn't change the fact that he's still only human. Or is he? We don't even really know that for sure. I mean, technically, he could be a god of some sort or have a god in him. I've done videos talking about this. This doesn't negate the fact that he has several glaring weaknesses, though the series is yet to present a villain that could exploit these shortcomings. All right, we're gonna get into the rest of these after this quick message from our sponsor. Our sponsor for today is Morgan & Morgan, an injury law firm that makes it easy to see if you should be awarded any money. One of the best things about them is you don't need any money to get started. The whole process is simple, and you can do the entire thing just straight from your phone. Plus, you don't owe them a dime unless they win your case for you. It only takes 8 clicks from your phone to apply, and you can just do that from your couch. Morgan & Morgan is one of the nation's leading injury law firms. They make the process super easy for you if you've ever been injured, and you can check them out by clicking on the link in the description box down below. Saitama's laziness can be a hindrance. Now, this one is probably the closest to being correct out of all of them, and it says Saitama may be the strongest human alive. That certainly doesn't mean he's immune to procrastination and laziness. I mean, I don't really know how that's even a weakness in general. The only way that it can actually be a weakness, or at least interpreted it as one, is when God Garo had killed everybody and Saitama finally shows up, dead, Genos laying on the ground, and he's like, you know, am I really cut out to be a hero? I always arrive too late. It could be interpreted that way, and he was lazy when he was younger and everything like that, but it's not like a weakness of him. It would never help you defeat him, just him being lazy. His laziness has gotten the best of him several times throughout the series, with Saitama usually arriving quite late to the crime scene. By the time Saitama reaches the scene, it's usually just after the aftermath of an attack with no sight of the criminal, or he just destroys the criminal completely before anyone else even shows up. Coupled with Saitama's lack of responsibility as a hero, this can be a serious problem for him. Moreover, he discovers being a hero as nothing more than a hobby, keeping him away from the boredom that awaits him every day. With such a mindset, it's no wonder he's lazy when it comes to being a hero. I don't think it's really even that Saitama's lazy, it's just that he doesn't really have that much incentive. You know, he describes in the first episode he got so powerful, nothing really excites him anymore. So if it's not exciting you, or it's not it doesn't seem urgent, he's not really going to take action. The things that are urgent to him are a sale at the supermarket, or potentially one of his friends dying. But he also understands that there is an entire hero association out there who is supposed to be doing their job. Saitama doesn't believe that it's his responsibility to just handle every single villain in the series. He's just doing it for fun. That doesn't necessarily make him lazy in any respect. Okay, number 2, Saitama's attacks are ineffective against smaller targets, and obviously they're going to go on with the Mosquito-kun, the one enemy that Saitama couldn't destroy, but this is just so stupid. I mean, it's literally just a gag. It's just supposed to be comical. It has nothing to do with him not being able to hit small targets. I mean, honestly, Saitama could have just serious sneezed and blew up his whole house and it would have destroyed the fly. We've seen Saitama blow up Jupiter with a sneeze. So a small target, he could literally evaporate like it's nothing. Okay, number 3, lack of versatility in Saitama's arsenal. One punch is all Saitama needs to finish off his opponents, with his mighty punch being his signature move to end every fight. The problem with this is, however, the fact that his fighting style has become too predictable. Since Saitama only skills are his speed and strength and physical invulnerability, finding a workaround to this can be quite simple. And we've seen that is not a weakness. In his battle with God Garo touted that his martial arts put him far above Saitama. So you're talking about someone who was near on par with Saitama's strength, with the the top tier of all martial arts in the entire world, still couldn't beat Saitama. Just because he doesn't have a huge arsenal, which by the way, he does. Okay, serious punch, serious sneeze, serious consecutive side hops, and most importantly, serious omnidirectional punch. Nothing can escape serious omnidirectional punch. That's probably the power of the Big Bang if it connects, and that's all he really needs. So to this date, that is probably his strongest technique. He also has serious squirt gun, and yes, he can create techniques through his sheer power and skill alone. We also saw him copy Garo's time-traveling martial arts god technique. So his arsenal isn't a lack of versatility, it doesn't even matter. Like, he could copy pretty much any technique that he wants to just by looking at it. That's what we saw with the finale with God Garo. But the fact of the matter is, he doesn't need to. And finally, it's like the writer of this article completely forgot about serious table flip. If that's not versatility, flipping the entire crust of a planet upside down, I don't know what is. There's barely anyone in the entire series that can even just survive one punch from Saitama. And he does have an arsenal: squirt gun, sneeze, side hops, etc. It's not a lack of versatility in his arsenal, and it's not a weakness. It doesn't even matter. Garo had a crazy big arsenal of techniques, so did Boros. What happened to them? They both got effed. Number 4, Saitama's low intelligence can sometimes be a problem. Saitama has clearly demonstrated that he possesses some semblance of intelligence, yet it doesn't negate the fact that he clearly isn't the sharpest tool in the shed. Saitama's lack of intelligence could very well become one of his biggest weaknesses, with villains only requiring wits to outsmart the famed hero. Saitama's answer to most obstacles is to simply punch his way through, and while this may have worked in his favor every time, some problems may require a bit of actual brain power. Any situation that requires using a bit of brain muscles could easily turn against Saitama, such as a potential hostage situation. I feel like this dude is literally just writing out of his ass. Remember the hostage situation with Sea King? Oh, that's right, he died in one punch. Saitama can move at instantaneous speed. He could literally just fly in and just erase someone in an instant. It doesn't matter who they are. Like, a hostage situation isn't gonna bother him at all. He could just step on the ground and lift everyone up in the air, you know, and then just punch the guy. Like, we've never seen a hostage situation preventing Saitama from doing anything. He just does what he wants anyway, and if it has ever been a hostage situation, he's defeated the enemy and rescued everyone. Furthermore, Saitama is not dumb. He acts dumb, that's for sure, and there is some speculation over whether he's actually stupid or he just kind of plays the part. I'm leaning more towards he just plays the part, because this man can drop some crazy philosophical nuggets of information and bombs at random moments throughout the series. Like, he'll act kind of dumb, but then he'll just say something that is mega giga chad brain intelligent. And to me, what that signifies is that he's not low intelligence like Goku, it's just an act. Furthermore, playing into his whole facade of he just doesn't care. Just because he doesn't care doesn't make him stupid. Number 5, Saitama's lack of combat training. One of Saitama's most prominent weaknesses is his lack of combat training. He was able to achieve his godlike strength through a strict workout regimen. While this training surely granted him unfathomable power, it lacked any sort of combat training. Again, this is the same thing if you go back to the God Garo fight. God Garo had all the martial arts in the world, and what did he want to do? He wanted to copy Saitama's serious punch. Like, the combat training doesn't matter when you're omnipotent. If you can't counter his punches and you can't hurt him, combat training is completely 100% irrelevant, as we saw in the fight with God Garo. So this is completely untrue. It doesn't matter whatsoever, and it's not a weakness. It's like an adult fighting a toddler, a 2-year-old, that knows Kung Fu. It doesn't matter how much martial arts a 2-year-old has, it can't beat an adult in a fight. Okay, and then the final one is that Saitama is only human. While Saitama's strength may be beyond human capabilities, he himself is still a mortal human, vulnerable to the same woes as any person. Again, we don't know if this is true anymore. There's a very big theory right now that his body is essentially taken over by some sort of god entity. We know that there is a monster god in this series, and he could be like the devil, and like the good god could be inside Saitama right now, and obviously they're gonna fight at the end, the monster god versus Saitama. Something happened to Saitama that broke his limiter. We still don't really know what exactly it is, but he very well may not be human anymore. He may be a god or deity of some sort. His body has undergone several augmentations due to his strength, as witnessed in the ascent into space without any sort of equipment. Oh yeah, he's human, but he can breathe in space, or at least he doesn't need to breathe in space. His body may have survived the harsh conditions, but only for a certain while, requiring him to re-enter Earth to breathe. That is completely false. He fought out in Jupiter for a hell of a long time, and if you read the manga, when he got punted to the moon, he was holding his nose, and he said something along the lines of like, oh, I guess I'm supposed to hold my breath. Like, he doesn't actually have to breathe at all. I mean, he was fighting out in space in Jupiter, so obviously he can't be 100% human. There's got to be something else going on there. I feel like this guy must have written this article like years ago, but like without the battle between God Garo and Saitama, which debunked basically this entire article. Like, if this guy actually read the manga, he would throw this article out. I mean, it's complete dog shit if you ask me. This opens up several ways for Saitama's opponents to defeat him, as they could employ tactics that could exploit his human weaknesses. Trapping him in outer space or potentially drowning him are ways that could be employed to debilitate Saitama, with his human weaknesses easily dethroning him from the title of strongest hero. Again, false, completely debunked. He doesn't need to breathe in space, so he won't need to breathe underwater. You cannot defeat him. If you're stronger than him, he will grow stronger than you exponentially faster. We've seen this from the battle with God Garo. This entire article is stupid, in my opinion. Should have never been written. It's clickbait, and I just want to clear that up. If you like this kind of video, leave a thumbs up and in a comment in the description box down below. Let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys for some more One Punch Man content very soon. Peace.